It's Wisbrock.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Just close enough. Oh, I'm old.
All right, welcome back to another episode of A Drunken Night Out. I'm your host, Ken Hamlet, and in the studio with Ray Wisbrock.
That's right. Here I am. Good to be here.
Very funny, very funny comic. I would say you got to put a disclaimer before tell people to come see. I'm the same way. You gotta have a disclaimer. I'm not for everybody.
Right.
So.
And I don't think we want to be for everybody.
Yeah, I did for the longest. I was like, I gotta be universal. Now I'm like, nah.
No,
I do.
You know, I did a show, and the booker came up to me and said, "Hey, great job." I said, "Well, I could tell there were a couple people that weren't into it." He goes, "When you were in school, if you got a 90% on a test, you'd be pretty happy."
Pretty good grade.
Pretty good grade.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, that kind of stuck with me. You're not going to get everybody.
That's true.
And as big a name as Seinfeld is, he's one of the biggest names. Not everybody loves that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Seinfeld.
Right.
So that's,
right. He's a billionaire. He's like, I really don't care, Ken. I'm doing fine without you.
I mean, unless you want me to open for you, Seinfeld, I'm a huge fan. Your biggest fan ever.
But the thing that cracks me up, he always talks about how much he's writing.
Yeah.
I'm always right. But his shows haven't changed that much.
Yeah, he did the same thing for like 30 years or whatever it is. Yeah.
And I saw an interview with him, Chris Rock, Rick Gervais, and Louis C.K. on HBO.
Yeah.
And he and Rock were going back and forth on. He's like, people want to see the greatest hits. He's like, they want to see new stuff.
I want to see new stuff, dude. You're not the Beatles.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, I was talking to someone about this the other day. As comedians, we're really only as good as our last joke or our last set.
Yeah.
And, if you're a big band like Zeppelin or something, it's like, okay, we're going to play Stairway to Heaven. They're all going to love it. But I would blow my brains out on stage if I had to play the same song again.
No way. Like I've been doing some of my jokes. My closer, well, now it's not even my closer anymore because I just taped it. And my closer I was doing for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And so like whenever I headline, I always do that as my closer. But when I'm doing shorter sets, I'm like, no way. I'm not touching that joke. Like if it's 15 minutes or less, even 20-minute sets, I would be like, I'm not doing the closer.
Well, do you know King David Lane out in Gary?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so he books independent shows out there, and I was there a few months ago, and I said, I don't have a ton of new stuff. He goes, that's fine. And it's not like, people are like, oh, yeah, we saw Ray a couple months ago. It's like, but I just
like, here's the poster from when we saw you last.
I just want to make sure he knows that, hey, I ain't coming up with a hot 30, new 30 or anything. He's totally fine with it. So I have longer show this weekend in Indiana, and it'll be a lot of stuff. I have my longer set and then stuff I'm practicing.
Yeah. That's how I am. I'm always... I didn't tape for a really long time because I was just constantly flushing out stuff out, and I'll like come up with a new joke, and I'm like, all right, where's the weakest link in the set? Mm-hmm. Throw that out, put the new joke in, and then fix the set to work. And so I would just like always consistently try to have the hottest version of a 30. Right. And now I'm like, all right, well.
Now when you go out, are you I know like you're headlining at the Vixen in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You do a lot of headlining and featuring.
It's headlining and featuring. When I work at like the legit, I don't want to say legit because every club is legit. But
I know what you mean though. Some are more legit than others.
Yeah, when you're doing the A clubs and the B plus clubs, I'll feature a lot of the times. And
so you're doing like 30,
25, and it also depends on who the comic is. So like when I was just working with Nimesh Patel, he had me doing like 15s.
Really?
That was the shortest I've ever done for a feature. But then when I was working with Eddie Griffin, we did like 20s. Some comics, Nicole Byer, I was doing like 25. Some comics I've done 30. So it just depends on like the headliner, like if they're flushing some new stuff out, which Nimesh does like a lot of crowd work at the end, so you have to have room for that.
Okay.
But it just depends on what they're doing. Like if they've been touring this 45 to an hour, a lot of them are like, yeah, the feature can do 25. Sometimes they'll let you do 30, but most of the time.
You do reach a point, though. It sounds silly, but shows should never be more than an hour and a half or 2 hours.
No.
I saw something like Kathy Griffin did 3 hours, like shoot me.
I don't want to see anybody.
No, Godfrey, who's hilarious.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Chicago Improv. I walked out towards the end because I'm like, okay, I'm tired of laughing. It sounds crazy. He was great. He was great, but enough.
I'm tapped out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't do more than 2 hours, like at a show. And even when I was watching Nimesh, he does like, I've never seen a comic do what he does. And I was still like, The Late Show, he did a really long like show, and I was like, all right, this
Wrap
is
it up.
yeah. I would not wrap it up. Something's opening now. I
know.
But I was like, dang, yeah, I couldn't imagine because he was like, I could be up here all night, and he was like, but I'm not going to because like that's not fun. Yeah.
It really isn't. I mean, so and Kathy Griffin, she's okay, you know, but I mean, 3 hours. Okay, you're just talking,
dude. That's like Eddie Griffin had a history of that. Dave Chappelle has like a history of doing those like 3 hour, 4 hour sets. I guess one time he did 12 hours.
Come on.
That's like a
that's
story
American.
that's out there.
You're helping special needs kids at that point. Come on. This next hour is for the kids with no legs.
Oh man. Yeah. So that I can't, 90 minutes is like the perfect length of a show. An hour is like a nice, sometimes that's like a short, fun show, but like 90 minutes is like the perfect length. And then over that, it's like,
host, feature, headliner, done.
Yeah. And the host, I think generally speaking, the host should only do like 10, maybe 15.
Maybe 15. But sometimes I'll see him doing 15, 20, and then that's a story for another day. You want to hear about my drinking days.
Let's talk about
let's talk about my stupidity back in the day. Embarrass myself for all the fans.
So are you from the Midwest originally?
Yes. I grew up in Elmhurst.
Okay.
The proverbial wrong side of the tracks. Lived in a 2-flat. My grandparents owned it. They lived on the first floor. We were on the second floor.
Okay.
So,
Cool. So the Midwest, what I'm learning now is that y'all start early. When did you start drinking?
Drinking?
Yeah.
I was not much of a drinker. In high school, I dabbled. Maybe it's like, okay, how quick can I drink this beer?
Gotcha.
The pseudo macho stuff. And like most people, it's like, this tastes terrible.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste. I won't acquire taste for sushi or something healthy, but I'll get used to the beer, no problem. And you sneak in the parents' liquor cabinet. But my parents really didn't drink that much. I only saw my, so it wasn't around that much. But so it wasn't until college when I started.
Like really started. Okay. Do you remember the first time you got like drunk?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's oh God. So I went off to college, Northern Illinois.
Okay.
And I'm there for the first real weekend, and again, not really a drinker at all. So I'm telling you guys, it's all in your head. It's psychologically, you just think you're drunk and that kind of stuff. So
a non-believer, huh?
A non-believer. I believe in Jesus, but I don't believe in alcohol. Figure that one out. So I was the classic idiot. I'm putting down anything that had alcohol in it. So, it was beer and Jack Daniels, and I was, quotes, fine. I laid down. I had the top bunk.
Ooh.
Mount Vesuvius. As soon as I laid down, it just shot out.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was ugly. Fortunately, my new roommate wasn't there yet. I didn't know him, but we hadn't put down a rug or anything, so it was easy.
This is like first. Yeah, you said first weekend, so this is what a great intro.
Yeah. And so my roommate, who I didn't know what I was, oh cool, I thought I was gonna have a nerd for a roommate. I'm like, no, I'm a nerd. Trust me. I'm not a partier. And so the next morning I cleaned it up. At 8 o'clock the next night, people were like, you want to go to the football game? Like, close the drapes. No, it was terrible. And so this next weekend, kind of the same deal. I'm like, what the hell happened? All of a sudden I go from 0 to 60. I'm a lush all of a sudden. And so then I shut down for the rest of the semester pretty much. I was still fun.
Really? No drinking?
No, I'm like, it kind of caught my attention. Yeah, I was like, okay, third one might be alcohol poisoning.
Like, fool me once,
I'm going to end up like Hendrix vomiting, choking on my vomit in my bed. So yeah, I kind of chilled out for the semester, but then I found my footing, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Seconds, then it started to get more fun.
Right?
Yeah, I got the groove. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't fun at the time.
Blast.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't smoke. I've never smoked weed. It's funny when the local community is like, hey, you want to get high? I'm like, dude, I'm 60. I'm not going to start now.
It's a great time to start, though.
I got no responsibilities. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say, you're not dealing with the hangover. There's a lot to be said for it, I think, as far as that goes. But it just doesn't seem like a fun way to get, because I was never one of those people, I'm going to get drunk tonight.
Yeah,
that wasn't what it was about for me. It's just like,
you thought you couldn't get drunk though. That's
right.
The problem.
I go hard at everything. It's like that's why I do the kind of comedy I do. Okay, comedy's hard. Let's do the stuff that's really going to be hard. And I would always have my homework done on Friday at the school, maybe a little on Saturday. So I'd be the guy Sunday night at this. I'd be like, who wants to go to the 10 o'clock movie at the campus theater? That they had. And like, we got homework. I'm like, you losers. Yeah. So and then there were times where I'd go to the movie and I'd have a 6-pack with me and I'd open it up fine. First, you'd cough over, but then once you start getting buzzed, like, cough. It's like, oh, my timing's off. Everybody hears it. Oh, okay. First couple, I'm good.
Yeah.
I took a class called Greek mythology. It was in a big lecture hall. And it was my last class on a Friday, and saw the syllabus was all going to be slides that day. So I'm like, I'm bringing beer.
No way.
To class. It was my last class of the day. So you hear that? And people,
Was it a big lecture hall?
Oh, huge lecture hall.
Okay, yeah, I'm like that because I'm
no, it was like 300 students.
Okay.
I mean, on a sad side note, it's this. It is a sad side note, but it's the coal hall where all the students got shot back in Valentine's Day. I don't
even know.
Oh, you weren't around then. Yeah, years after I'd left, I forget what year it was, but on a Valentine's Day, some whack job shot a bunch of kids in that hall.
Damn.
Yeah. And I would have just been drinking like, I ain't feeling a thing.
Like, I'm not worried, guys.
Go ahead.
You guys need to chill out. We have a beer.
Yeah, you need a beer, man. What are you so upset about? I could have been a hero that day.
Yeah, right? You could have shared a beer that day.
Yeah.
Saved everyone.
But yeah, it was funny. I mean, I sat way in the back and you could hear it opening and that kind of stuff. And people like, give me one. Like, hey, you're on your own. So, yeah, I mean, back in the day, I definitely enjoyed it because I would have all my responsibilities done. So like, okay, I don't have to worry about, so I said when we were talking Catholic guilt, got to get the work done first.
Yeah. Then I'll screw up my life.
I go to 5 o'clock mass. The sister floor would have a party in the afternoon. I'm like, I'd still go to communion and that kind of stuff. It's like I'm buzzing, and it's like, hey,
buzzing at communion.
Yeah, it's like, give me some of that wine, and you're supposed to take a sip. I'm like,
come on, top me off.
Top me off. This is all you got? I turn around to the people behind me. There's none left. Sorry.
Hey, like, you're getting a little stingy there. Huh?
Yeah, but once I started drinking, I was pretty much just a beer drinker.
Really?
Then I was up there for a semester, and I took an extra semester, and it was the summertime, and it was just craziness. I mean, my last 2 classes, I was just short a few hours, so I took a bowling class in sports culture. So you can imagine what that was like.
Drunk all the
time. Yeah. And there was a bar down the street called the Jungle, and just to justify being open, they would literally every hour, they would just line the bar with plastic cups of beer. For free. So I was like, I'll wait. Yeah.
That's how you start.
They just wanted to justify being open.
That's how you start a problem. Though.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But it was, just walking down the streets are not a problem. And back then liquor was so cheap. I mean, I used to do, would get pitchers of vodka and 7-Up. So 8 shots on happy hour nights were like $4 for a pitcher of 7-Up and 8 shots of vodka.
No, $4?
$4.
Jeez.
That's the only thing about being old. It was cheap back in the day.
I get it. Make America great again.
Yeah. That's another story. I don't agree with that philosophy. And then when I would go home in Elmhurst, there was a bar down. It was about 5 blocks away. Because I really did try to. I mean, there were a couple times, sad to say, I probably should not have been driving.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Man, it's like playing Mario Kart. To be fair, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to this day I haven't drank in a lot of years, probably 20 some years. I still have dreams of being behind the wheel when I shouldn't be, and it scares the hell out of you. You wake up like, oh God, that was only a dream. But I would this bar down the street is called Elmhurst Gardens. It was like not down the street; it was 5 blocks away. And back then, this is how old I am. The Blackhawks were not on home TV or not on TV at home, so I'd go down there and watch the games. And I remember the bartender's name, Mark, and we became buddies. Buddies in the sense of bartender. Yeah. So he'd be like, "You want another pitcher?" Like, sure. I'm walking home, but I was I was a heavier dude, so it's not a skill. It's not like, that's a skill, dude.
There's like big guys. Have you ever been around those big guys that are just lightweights?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's nothing. I'm not bragging, but it's just like I was a bigger dude, and so my body could absorb it and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the one thing that saved me is I started, for Lord knows what reason, I started working out in college. And back then, it wasn't like they had a fitness center like they do now on every campus.
Yeah.
So the weight room didn't open up till 5. So I would go to church buzzing, but I would never go to the weight room buzzing. I had my priorities.
You got values, man.
Yeah. It's like I ain't dropping a couple $100 on my head, drunk. Not a good idea. But I had priorities, and so that kept me from because typically happy hour everybody's like 30, and that would be the word I would think. I don't know what your drinking habits were, but to be already buzzed by 7 on a Friday night is the worst.
Yeah,
to me,
no,
it's the worst
I don't.
nightmare. It's like,
That's
pace
like,
yourself.
yeah, I don't do the day drinking. Like, I hate it. I've like gotten drunk a couple of times during the daytime, but like daytime drinking is terrible.
It is.
I also was like, I could drink a lot, and so in order to get drunk during the daytime and then maintain that through the entire evening, like that was just.
And then
so much alcohol
when
to
you
consume.
break the seal, when you go to the bathroom for the first,
Then you're just
agony,
pissing all day,
agony. Yeah. And there's some chick in there fixing her makeup. Like, you need more help than makeup. Just get the hell out of there. I gotta pee. The makeup ain't cutting it. And I had this friend. He was he's on the football team at Northern. Typical musclehead type guy. He had to watch Dallas on Friday night.
Like,
Dallas. It was a TV
the
show.
cop show or whatever.
No, it was a nighttime soap opera.
Okay.
I'm like, you're serious, dude? We're not partying because you're watching a soap opera. But again, that helped because I'm like, okay, it's over at 9:00. Good.
So you're like, once that's over, we'll start drinking.
Then we'll start. We got plenty of time. But I'm like, really, Chris? I great guy, a lot of fun. But I'm like, I'm not going out till after Dallas. I'm like, you weenie. So,
all right, hell yeah. So you're primarily a beer drinker.
Primarily, yeah.
Okay, so there's a segment on the show where we have to create a drink, and you name that drink, and you give us the reasons why. So,
okay,
what would you create? You can put anything in the world in it, like literally whatever you want. Some communion wine, like whatever.
I don't know that I'm that much fun. I mean, I was good with vodka.
Okay.
But I didn't do that much. I didn't do wild stuff. I mean, nowadays I see all these beers have these fruity flavors and that kind of stuff. Like, if you want to drink, okay? I mean, I wasn't one of these guys going to bounce.
It's made for kids, dude.
It is. It's like, why don't we just put a nipple on the top of it? But I wasn't one of these guys going to sit around bounce quarters and like, hey, I'm drinking
games. You didn't do drinking games?
No.
Really?
No.
Wasn't that like the good times of drinking games? I feel like that was
my drinking game was, again, I'm so old, but do you remember the original Odd Couple? Oh damn! So there was a guy, Oscar Madison, who was a slob. He wrote for the New York Times. He was a sports writer, and there's a thing called the Oscar Madison. This is my idea of a beer game. He wouldn't take the beers out of the 6-pack.
Yeah.
He would just open them and drink them, and open them and drink and open them and drink them. So that's how I drink a 6-pack. Sometimes, I was just that was my idea of a game.
That was your game, yeah.
Like, hey, that was my stupid game. No, so I wasn't into beer pong and that kind of stuff.
Really? That made drinking fun. Like that was it was already fun. Like I'm not like a mixed drink type of person. I'm just like, give it to me straight. Like no ice, just need the alcohol right into my veins,
Right. If you're gonna do it, tap. That's the only tap dance I want to do. And like I said, I definitely enjoyed it. But I also, one of the things, I would go to parties stone cold sober. I mean, places where I didn't know anybody, and just walk in and see how long I could hang out. And most of the time, it was cool. And if people asked me to leave, hey, you don't know anybody? No, okay, can you leave? I was not you were talking about lightweights. Yeah. I mean, we all hate belligerent drunks, beer muscles. Like, dude. I mean, I had a friend. We were outside a frat house, and he's sitting on the car, one of the frat guys' car. Jeez. And like, can you get off the car? Come down here and make me. I'm like, here we go.
Like, bro, it's supposed to be 30 versus 1 in a
second. I know. It's like, this is why you're on the football team, because you're not good at math. I'm like, Kevin, he said get off his car. It's a legitimate request. Yeah. So.
Dude, you're 240 pounds sitting on his Honda Civic. I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think the hood is meant to hold that.
So nothing really came of it. I'm like, dude, can you just get off his car?
Oh, man.
But that wasn't the frat I stole the keg from. I told you about a story.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You stole a keg.
Yeah. It was, again, it wasn't the first thing of the night. I had been drinking, so you're not thinking clearly. It was at the Pi Kappa Alpha House. Sorry, guys, if you're watching.
I love that you named them because people don't like naming people on the podcast. I'm like, nah, give first and last names. Yeah. You're just like, I got this.
What do I got to lose at this point?
Name.
But so I went in their basement. It wasn't a full keg, but there was enough. And I don't know what possessed me. So I took it, me and this friend Denny, and it was like 3 doors down from our house. We take it back to our house.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
And finish it. And then again, Catholic guilt. I'm like, they're going to want their deposit. I better take it back. So I'm walking back with this keg that I stole from these guys. And I'm like, I just went back down to the basement like nothing ever happened.
Nobody saw you.
Nobody saw it. No, I probably wouldn't be here if they saw me probably kick my butt.
Nobody saw you take the keg and bring it back.
No,
that's insane. Because a keg is not like a small thing to just.
No, it was
like a half keg.
Barrel. It was a half barrel. But again, a lot of it was gone. Yeah.
You're not just.
I had another
it's not
guy.
like you just let me put it under my shirt and just.
Well, I told you that one story. So, and again, these are dumb stories, but at the time I thought it was fun. But I went to a bring your own beer party, and it was only a quarter barrel, and a bunch of us watched hockey back then.
Okay.
And that time there was a hockey playoff game on, so I was watching it. Then I went to the party, and I just, like an ass, had the quarter barrel under my arm because I was a bigger dude. So I'm just like, you said it was bring your own. Like, what the hell? You don't bring a quarter barrel to a party, man. And I just sat there with the tap, like a tard, man. It's like, I mean,
a whole fucking quarter barrel.
Well, I mean, I shared, obviously. I didn't
I hope so. Jesus, man.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about it's like we used to have. Did you ever have case-a-thons?
Oh, no, I'm not a beer drinker, so I couldn't do it. But my brother was a Kappa Sig, and they would have like case-a-thons and shit like that. And you're like,
I would never say, I'm going to drink a case of Coke tonight. But a case of beer is like, yeah, I'm a man. I can do that. And then, like I said, then you take that first piss. It's like, oh, this is painful.
Yeah.
Painful waiting. So, but back then, I mean, a case of beer, back then I was drinking old style, $4 or $5 a case. And I went down to U of I had what the Halloween weekend was so much fun. Mm-hmm. They blocked off Green Street. Block off the street.
Block off the street.
That's
dope.
It was bedlam. I mean, everybody was drinking.
Yeah, that had to be insane.
It was. They don't do it anymore for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Few deaths.
Yeah. And so me, we went down there from DeKalb, and there was a case of beer. It was called like Carling Black Label or some stupid stuff.
That does not sound good.
No, it was like $3 a case. $3 a case.
That's not good.
Yeah, back then it's like all the good stuff first, then I'll switch to Black Label. But back then it's like you're drinking, so you ask your guys, hey, does this girl look good? I think we might make out. She goes, oh yeah, she looks great. And like, no, you assholes. No, she doesn't. Why am I trusting you guys? But it was definitely fun. I would. People were dressed up in costumes, and I obviously didn't wear a costume. People were like, hey, who are you? I'm like, I'm an asshole. Leave me alone.
I'm an alcoholic, dude.
I'm an alcoholic, yeah. You see the quarter barrel? But that was a lot of fun. Again, I'll probably start drinking after the show again. I'll be,
you're like reminiscing. Like,
I know. It's like,
hey,
damn.
Those were good times.
They were very good times because I had no responsibilities. And like I said, I never was one of those guys, hey, I'm getting wasted tonight. That wasn't my mindset. Yeah. Obviously, I knew it could happen, but again, I had my homework done or I had things under control.
Responsibilities handled.
Yeah, I had my stuff handled. So it's So
all right, so let's get you out of your wildest. You have a crazy drinking story that comes to mind, like your.
They're all. This one's kind of connected. So I played traveling baseball till I was about 20 years old, and we were doing a tournament down in Greenville, Illinois, which is about 5 hours away. I wasn't that popular on the team, so I was in the back of a pickup truck that had a bed, an enclosed bed.
Okay.
They just gave me like a 12-pack of Mickeys and sat me in the back of the bed. That's like, okay, it's like the dog. The dog. So I'm sitting there, it's a 5-hour drive in the middle of nowhere. God,
in the back of a truck.
In the back of a truck, and it's the Mickey's Wide Mouth, which doesn't taste that good. But I'm drinking them. I drink them, pissing them, toss them out like hand grenades out the car. And between the drinking and the being on the road, I got sick as a dog, and I'm supposed to be there for a tournament for practice.
Oh my gosh.
So Ken, I'm sitting there, borderline passed out.
Yeah.
I finally roused myself up. I'm like, oh, they're practicing. I go out there. Practice is over.
Nobody said anything to you? They didn't
I wasn't a popular guy. They could care less.
They're like, good, he's asleep.
Let's
leave him there.
He's dead, yeah. More for the rest of us. Yeah. So that night, we come back, or that weekend we come back, yeah. And it was, again, with the traveling team. I'm sorry, that was that one weekend, and then the last game of the season, it was local. Okay, so the season was over. I was glad, because the coach took it way too seriously. We either practiced or played every day.
Jeez.
It's like, way to take the fun out of it.
Yeah, you're like, we're not fucking pros.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid. Last time I checked, I'm not getting paid. So the season was over, so I'm ready to drink. And so I'm drinking, and I walked around with my laundry bag from college is filled with Old Style. And me and a buddy are drinking. And then he said, I'm going home. And this is the park bench story. And I said, okay, I'm just going to sit here for a little bit. Next thing I know, like 4 or 5 hours later, I wake up, and it's about the length of this room from the road, and I'm literally sleeping under a park bench, like 20 feet from the road. I'm like, how did the cops not? Hey, dude,
Nobody got you
again. Nobody cares. I'm the most hated man in America.
I was like, what did you do, man?
I know. Well, maybe that's where I get my jokes from. Maybe some of them are true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny. No one cared.
Jeez, dude, like he probably needs that nap.
Yeah. So at like 6 o'clock, I wake up. It was a sunny morning, I remember, and I just walk home. It was about 4 or 5 blocks. I'm like, what am I going to tell my parents? Like, I don't even remember what I said.
Oh man.
But that was like, that was terrible. So literally sleeping under a park bench.
Outside. I've never gotten that drunk.
Oh, well, then another time we were out drinking. I'm at a Denny's, and I get in the wrong car. I'm sitting in the back seat, and the guy's like, hey, you're in my car. I'm like, get out of my car. I'm in the right car. And my friends are like, sorry, he's drunk. They're like, yeah, some guy must be drunk. I'm like, they're talking about you, moron.
You fucking idiot. Get out of that car.
And then probably the one more embarrassing ones, those are just silly. But the one back in college, by this point I was a junior or senior, and college kids today, their rooms are so nice. I mean, they got nice beds,
it's super
TVs.
nice now.
Yeah. I had a mattress and a desk. I mean, when I moved home, it was not a big deal. I dumped the mattress in the dumpster and took the desk home. But anyhow, I start pissing in my bed. I stand up, and I think I'm at in the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
So I'm just whizzing away, and my roommate wakes up and goes, Ray, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, Denny, get out of the bathroom. I'm pissing. He goes, you're not in the bathroom, moron.
Like, you freaking pervert. Get out of
exactly.
here, man. I'm
Yeah, what
pissing.
the hell? And back then, I had a small prostate, so I had a good stream. And it's like, I'm like, damn. And I thought, after I told you the story, I thought about, like, I didn't replace that mattress.
How did you? What?
I don't know what I did, Ken.
Lying back on the pissy mattress.
I'd like to think
aired it out
I
somewhere?
think I'd like to think I changed the sheet, but I'm not going to make any promises. But I definitely didn't replace the mattress.
That's how did you get the rest of the piss out of the room? You don't even. You're just like, move the mattress. The piss dried.
I flipped the cushion over. That's probably what I did. I washed the sheets and I probably flipped the mattress over. It's like, okay, now it's on the floor.
Okay, now the pissy part is off.
That's probably what I did, but I was trying to remember, like, what did I do?
Oh,
so not good. But yeah, then I was out of college and I was still drinking, and my wife had a job with a good company, and it was like a Memorial Day weekend at her boss's house.
Oh wow!
And it's and on the radio it was like an A to Z weekend, and me and this other guy that she worked with were drinking during the day, and then walking over to the party because it was a mile or so, so it was walkable.
Yeah. What kind of party was this? Was this like a?
It was a party. There was
like
beer and that kind of stuff.
Okay,
but it was business.
It's more business.
Yeah, it's
than
like
party.
Yeah, this isn't like the college walking.
Yeah. And you've already.
But I changed the vibe. Let's say that.
That's what I was asking.
Fancy house in Inverness, Illinois. The guy's got a bowling alley in his basement.
So you're not. This is not a pre-gaming house.
No. And I just told my wife, "Oh, you go on ahead. I'll meet you." And so it's an A to Z weekend. Once the W's rolled around, we're like, "Yeah, we better go." So we're walking there. We're pissing in bushes on the way. I get there. I'm already,
You're
drunk.
hammered. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hammered, absolutely. And I find this duck with a stick on it. And I'm like, oh, this would be funny if I make the duck drink. It was a wooden duck, with a stick on it, so it waddled, blah, 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 blah. And I put my beer, and people are laughing. That's funny, it's funny. Her boss, the owner of the fancy house, Ray, that's an antique from Germany. I'm like, oh, man. My wife just lost her job.
He's like, hey, Ray, that duck costs more than you made.
Than you'll ever make in your lifetime.
Can you put that down, please?
It's like, yeah. Jeannie, do whatever you have to do to keep your job. I understand.
like if you got to take some late office days, I get it.
Oh, that was in terms of embarrassment, just sheer stupidity. That was probably right up there.
Did you stay at the party after?
Oh yeah. I know, no shame. No shame at all. I'm like, okay.
Like, I'll put it back.
I'll go bowling then. That'll be great. Bowling alley is basically, I'm just pissing away. Oh God.
That is freaking hilarious. All right. Great stories. Let the people know where they can find you online and stuff. Any upcoming stuff going on?
Well, I'm old, so I'm still on Facebook. Just my name, Ray Wisbrock, Wisbrock. Brock. And if you search my name on Instagram, I can't even remember if it's an underline or at. I got to do better at social. Do you do a lot of social?
Yeah, you have to nowadays. I was like really anti-social media. I was like, I'm a stand-up comedian through and through. Like, I don't do sketches. I don't do any of that stuff. And then I just saw a lot of my peers start taking off because of online content. And then this last year, I was like, all right, if I'm going to do a real crack at this, I got to get online. And so I've just been posting a lot.
I have a lot of, I have sets that I could pull a lot of good clips from.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of these guys like, people, oh, you burn your material. Not everybody's going to see my stuff, I'm sure, so I'll go ahead and wing it. Yeah. I'll take that risk. But I just have a tough time learning how to edit and that kind of thing. I mean, I had a good clip from Comedy on State. I did their mic, and that actually got like 10,000 likes, which for me is huge.
That's a lot of likes.
Yeah. And then I put another one out there, crickets, like 500 or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because I tagged Comedy on State, so people saw it because of that.
That will make it pop up more.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was, the other material I was funny was from Zanies or something, but I don't know if the Comedy on State made it pop. But have you've worked? You've done?
I haven't done Comedy on State. I was supposed to go with a couple of buddies, Matt and the Chris Grieco and Kevin. They were going up there
for the mic.
Yeah, and I ended up getting Nimesh like that same week, and my car broke down, and I was just like. Yeah, so I had to catch the bus out there. It was a whole deal. And so then I was like, I can't go, guys. My car just broke down just now. So.
It is an app. As far as open mics go, from my limited, I'm in Chicago. It's a major market, so there's a lot of good mics here, obviously. But that one is absolutely insane. 200 people.
Packed out every single time.
Every damn time.
It's like you just want to be there because I've like seen, they give you the clip also, which is amazing. I'm like, man, I got to go up
it's a high quality clip. And the first time you do like 3 minutes because they don't know you're done, they're like, you're still only doing 4. But then if you're good, they've told me to keep on their radar, but nothing's happened yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be, Comedy on State. I'd love to do a weekend at, certainly.
Yeah.
December ended well for me because through a friend, I got a guest spot with Ian Bagg up in Milwaukee Improv.
I was gonna say you did the improv. I saw that.
That's the only way I got in there because Ian was generous enough to give me a spot, and that guy is so confident. I'm like, well, do you want to see a clip? So you know what you're getting is. No, there's no way you could ruin my show. I'm like, okay.
You're like, all right, I'm going to shoot for this.
Yeah. But earlier that week, I'll be honest. Some people never admit they bomb. I did a show earlier in the week in Milwaukee, and they just were not into it at all. I had them initially, but once I start with the suicide abortion stuff, go figure, huh?
I can shake up a room.
Yeah. The host felt so bad. She's like, I was laughing back there. I said, yeah, the audience wasn't. It was the biggest bomb I've ever had.
Oh, dang.
So then I'm like, crap, I'm going to Milwaukee Improv.
Into the same city.
Yeah. Are these people all going to be uptight? And so I'm up there. It's like 400 people, because Ian sold them out, obviously.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they were on board, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then a week or so later, I was able to host for Adrian Appalucci at Zanies, which was huge because I first heard of her when she was opening for Louis C.K. when he was coming back and he was in Chicago, and then I looked her up and but she just finished touring last year. They went to Europe, Australia, and Hawaii.
Damn.
And she was opening for him all over those places.
That's
so
bullshit.
So that was fun. Obviously, I want to get back to Zanies on the weekends, and that we all do.
Yeah.
We all work at that stuff.
Yeah, trying
to. But where are some of the big places you're at? Because you do those summit, you do the Bark Entertainment
clubs. Yeah.
That's
that would be like my home club essentially. I'm from Tacoma originally. Tacoma Comedy Club is like their.
So that's how you got in with Bark?
Yeah.
So you know Josh out there then?
Yeah. Me and Josh are pretty good friends. Because
we'll talk afterwards. I'll send him emails. He has not responded.
I can't speak on behalf of Josh.
Yeah. No, because I went up there. Talk about being crazy. I drove. It's 3 hours each way for me to do the
Skyline.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite clubs.
Oh, it was a lot of fun for Mike again too.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, because of the type of humor I do, every time I go up there, I'm at the point where the writing's gotten better. I think where some people I'm not going to win no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny enough that people are like, okay, the guy's clearly joking.
Those are good jokes. Yeah.
Those are good jokes.
Yeah.
And so the guy at Skyline said, reach out to Josh, tell him you heard from, I suggest you reach out to him, but he must get knocked up all the time. So.
No, yeah, they get hits, man. Because now they're I would say they're an A-level club. They got 6 clubs.
Yeah,
they're all over the country. They're booking the biggest. I'm opening for Jeselnik. Hosting for Jeselnik.
Yeah, and he's when he gets his set together the way he likes it, he'll be at the Chicago Theater.
They're doing theaters. Yeah, and that's the thing. Their clubs, they'll bring in guys that are doing theaters.
Oh yeah,
and so like you'll get in the middle of like a theater run where they're doing the club for a full weekend, and it's like you're working with A-listers at their club, so they get a billion fucking emails.
Like, and Jeselnik is going to be at Comedy on State in April, as a matter of fact, and that I got tickets. Can't wait to see him in such a small venue because some of these guys, I get it from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
But like Mulaney and Maniscalco when they're at the United Center.
Yeah.
I saw Mulaney there, and I had good seats. I was like 12th row main floor. And it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. Comedy inside of those venues, like everybody wants to get to that point.
Sure, I understand from an economical standpoint, but I paid for the microphone stand. Okay. The rest is pure profit. It's not like you're a band and you're paying roadies. I brought my mic. Kevin Hart at Philadelphia football stadium.
Yeah, that had to have been insane. 30,000 plus people.
It was like 70, I think.
Yeah, it's like.
And I love Kevin Hart in movies and that. Comedy, he doesn't do it. I don't know.
His old stand-up, I used to love his old stuff. His old stuff is amazing. Like when you look at his old stuff, to me, I think he's one of like I got my fucking goats on my wall.
Yeah,
I think he's like right below.
My picture's not here.
Yeah, it's getting painted, dude.
Getting painted, yeah. Don't enough white paint. He ran out all the black paint, I see.
Yeah, we use a lot of black paint.
Is that Bernie?
Yeah, Bernie Mac is my ultimate goat. Yeah, so you got Bernie, you got Eddie. Now, Richard Pryor.
And you could edit this stuff out if you want. But I saw Chris Rock at the Chicago Theater. I was surprised that he was only at the Chicago Theater. I think he's funnier than Eddie Murphy.
I think, for me, Chris Rock is the funniest comic alive.
But Eddie Murphy's like, oh man, I can't believe he's coming back and this, that, and the other. And he'll be at this. Kevin Hart was at the United Center. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Chris Rock was amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
He's just not as big. I mean, he is. It's weird. Like, he is as big as those guys. But
I think
not as big as those guys. Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to someone who knows the business better than me. He said Chris Rock's obviously huge, but nowhere near on the same level as Kevin Hart. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Kevin Hart could literally go sell out the Bears. like Soldier Field. I
mean, imagine how, I'm sure Chris Rock makes good money. And when you were talking about Kevin Hart earlier in the day, I mean, some of these guys spread themselves so thin with their podcasts, movies. I mean, I think Maniscalco is a guy who's gonna obviously I have no inside information, but he does the podcast, but he's getting into acting a lot more. And he seems kind of like, he used to be hilarious, but his last couple specials have not been.
Yeah, when you put all your energy into the other things, and then also
there's only so much creativity.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like I think a lot of those guys, like, you're working to get to that stage, and then once you get there, like I do this. I talk about this a lot with like being an athlete, right? I wanted to be a college athlete. When I got there, I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. So like I'm not gonna keep working hard. Like,
where'd you play?
I ran track at Utah State, then I transferred to Western Oregon University. So.
Oregon track is huge up there, right?
At the University of Oregon, is massive. They're like one of the top programs in the country every single year.
Isn't that where Prefontaine or something came from or something?
Yep.
Look at me.
Yeah, look at you, fucking in the world of track.
That's man, yo, dog.
Like, that is a random fact to know.
There's no Prefontaines. Like, that's why I stopped drinking, so I could keep these brain cells. Yeah. Imagine if I had never drink, how smart I'd be. But yeah, I mean, I saw a podcast with Bill Burr and Jim Gaffigan, and they were saying, there's something to be said for the journey and the climb, because it becomes a job after a while.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm at that point where it's a job, and I have to make sure I'm looking at my calendar and responding to emails and looking at financials.
And you have your set down, so it's like, okay, I'm going out on the road again this weekend. And I've seen some comedians. The thing I like about Ian. One of the things I like about him is he does a lot of crowd work.
Yeah, the same.
He has a few. Oh, you do a lot of crowd work?
Yeah, I love crowd work.
Yeah, that's something I have to develop that muscle a bit, but I'm afraid to let them in at all because I rarely get heckled, which is amazing.
I'm surprised. Yeah, the stuff that you say, I would assume people would
I'm not saying people don't yell out stuff.
You're just like,
I just don't acknowledge it because I'm going to open Pandora's box. I mean, I felt bad when I was hosting at Zany's. I did the typical, hey, who's celebrating a birthday, da-da-da-da. And then some woman towards the back, she said, oh, my grandma would have been 76 today. I said, well, is she alive? And she goes, no, nobody cares. And the audience laughed. I'm like, damn, she's sharing a nice story about her grandma. And I was like, nobody cares.
She's like, my grandma's the most important person in my life.
That's Nana. And then I doubled back and I'm like, when did she die? And she died. I was like, and then I'm like, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's all raise a toast for grandma. But, you think I'd be vicious, but, like, I like you, I'm sure you have a couple heckle responses ready to go. You don't?
No, I just like I literally am like a crowd work person, so I'll like dive into whatever is
right. But I mean, you don't have anything.
I don't have anything locked and loaded that I just say no.
Oh, so wow.
Yeah, I don't like to have. I tried to do that one time.
No, I'm just saying
like
for
have
heckles.
it like like for heckles. I tried to have like something locked, and I just didn't feel natural, and that's why like I don't even. When we're talking about writing, I don't like write out all the way.
Really?
Because it doesn't feel like I don't like the way like reciting the joke all the way.
See, when I started, and not only was I doing dark stuff, but I wasn't funny, which is a nice combination. Yeah, that would make a lot of friends. You just joke about a dead baby, and it wasn't funny. Cool. But I would practically memorize the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And then it would throw me off if I missed a word.
Exactly. That's why I don't like it. I want it to just feel natural every time.
Yeah.
And I used to just always be drunk up there.
My delivery's gotten better, I'd like to think. The writing's gotten better. I mean, for me, like I mentioned earlier, comedy's hard enough, but I've had comedians say, even if I thought of this twisted stuff you do, I wouldn't have the nerve to say it in public. I wouldn't say it on a stage. I'm like, oh, you're the one who's talking about eating ass. Okay, so tell me, where's I'm sorry, I fail to see where I'm really over it. And that, I mean, you don't do that. You don't do a lot of that. I mean,
not a lot. I think I had more sex stuff like probably like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and now it's like pretty much like I have like
more intelligent stuff.
Not necessarily intelligent, but there are some smart jokes. I'm writing more and more smart jokes, and it just comes to me that way. So
yeah,
I like the stuff. I'm really trying to like prepare my like TV sets.
Oh wow!
So it's like I'm not like I'm getting any interest or anything like that, but I'm like trying to like change the comedy to be more like TV ready. So there had to be like smarter, punchy type stuff that's like more relatable.
Have you done any acting?
A couple of like short films and stuff like that.
You
but
haven't done any
like,
shows or anything?
No.
You're a good-looking guy. You can be doing that stuff.
I'm just
the old racist guy. I've been stereotyped, Ken.
Racist guy number 3.
Yeah. Okay, can you read for "Get Off My Lawn"? That's
got a Tarantino film coming up.
Exactly. But it's just interesting where you get your ideas from, because someone was talking to me about this today, where you get your ideas, and I wish I had a great answer, but I just observed, like one night I was walking into church and I saw a bumper sticker that 93% of women regret their abortions. Like, okay, there's something there. Yeah, and so I was able to work it into a good bit. It's like, that one practically writes itself. Yeah. They don't regret them as much as the babies do.
But that 7% really love theirs.
Or I'm like, they don't regret them as much as I regret keeping mine. Stuff like that. So that just came from a bumper sticker.
That's funny.
When you're comedians, I think your mind's just always looking.
Yeah. I like it. Just like stuff will happen. There were like some times where I'm like, I just want to talk about like my dad or something, and I'll start like thinking back.
You could
on
riff like that. God, I wish I could do that stuff. So you write on stage kind of a lot. Too.
A lot, yeah. Damn. A lot. That's like,
I'm jealous. I wish I could do that.
There'll be like moments where I'm like, because I do a lot of crowd work, and then I'm like, that's funny. Remember that. And so in that moment, I'll just like make a mental note, and then later I'll go back and I'm like, that was funny. Let's add that into the set now.
Well, I was just at the Vixen a couple of weeks ago, and a line popped out of my head, and kind of to your point, and it stuck. It was I was talking about being happily married. I said the last couple of years have been especially good, probably because my wife's been in a coma. And that was the first time it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people who drink before they go up on stage. I'm like,
that's how
I ain't doing that. I don't know what would come out of my mouth.
For the longest time, because I do a lot of crowd work, and I was like, you got to shut off that prefrontal cortex. Can't have any inhibitions. You want to just be able to say whatever your comic mind wants to say. And now, like, that was the hardest part, like being sober, was like getting back into the crowd work and not letting me worry about like how people are going to perceive me or whatever. Mm-hmm. So now I just go say whatever you think.
Yeah.
Like, let that big brain go.
Well, one thing Seinfeld says that I give him, and I do like Seinfeld. I think he's pretty darn funny, but understatement. But he said, when you're writing funny stuff, it's not work, because he said, write for yourself and hopefully other people like it.
Yeah.
Again, that's like Oprah saying, you could be anything you want to be. Okay, Jared, you're kind of a big success.
A little bit easier for you than me.
How come I don't hear from Harry on Lower Wacker telling me I could be anything I want to be? Okay, Oprah.
Yeah, like it's
Ones that made it. Bill Gates. I dropped out of college. Okay.
like so did the dude eating pigeons over there.
Exactly. He's over the barrel, the 55-gallon drum grilling pigeons.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the big. That's a podcast for another day. That's the biggest lie. You could be anything you want to be. It's like, don't even get me started on that. We better cut the tape.
Yeah. Bitter man comes out. Yeah.
No, it's just such a big lie. That's not true.
No, yeah, that's not true. Society is not set up that way.
No.
But let's any upcoming dates, any shows you got coming up that you want people to get out to?
Well, the one Friday night I'm doing the Spirit Water show out in Cary with Larry Bloom and Ricky March. They do independent shows out there. It's actually fun. They have good food there, and so it's a good time. That's at 8:00.
You say Spirit Mountain?
Spirit Water.
Spirit Water.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a casino? Is it?
No.
Okay. Sounds like a
Racist.
Yeah. I'm from the Northwest. That sounds. We got a
probably
Spirit
Indian.
Mountain.
They're probably smoking at the casino. But February 1st, part of a show at Zany's, the Wednesday night new material night, and those are always fun.
Oh, nice.
And if people reach out to me on Facebook, I could give them in there I could get them comped. So
hell yeah.
Those are probably the two bigger ones that are. I mean, the one Saturday in Indiana is already sold out, so that's nice.
Oh, damn, nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Congrats on that, dude.
So yeah, well, it's not because of me, but it's because it's in a mall probably somewhere. Like, hey, what are we gonna do tonight?
All right, yeah, and then Big Black Schlongs for everything. That's the website.
Small White Peter.
Small White Peter is the better version.
Yeah. Typical white schlong. That's my name.
And the tour date's coming up. I'll be opening or hosting for Jeselnik the 26th through the 29th, and I'll be headlining. No, that one's in Summit City at Fort Wayne.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're right. But you're also in Louisville, though.
I was in Louisville the last 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, that was a lot of traveling back and forth to Louisville. Wow. And then I'll be headlining the Vixen Theater, which I'll be taping a special with 4x3. That was random. So that's gonna be cool. Then
I saw that lineup. That's a really good lineup.
I
think Chris Tranny's on it too, right?
I'm not even exactly sure. I know what's the kid's name? That sounds like Seinfeld a lot of it.
His name sounds like Seinfeld?
No, he sounds like his comedy.
Oh, Ryan Oliver. That guy is so fun. Oh my gosh, he is so silly. I remember I saw him the first time in Aurora at the original Shrine and I'm like, dude, you're a good writer. And I had so much respect for him because he was a guy who was really writing.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people, they're just
kind of
masturbating his sock. Yeah. Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
All right. This has been a Drunken Night Out, y'all. Peace.
Thanks.